There are stories that, no matter how much time passes, remain etched into our collective memory like a deep scar. Stories that are not just crimes, but mysteries, taunting both reason and justice. And tonight, I want to tell you about one of those stories, a case that has haunted Hollywood for nearly 80 decades. January 1947, Los Angeles, the city of neon lights, of glittering dreams, and also a place where the shadows of crime lurk beneath the shimmer. The victim was a 22-year-old young woman, beautiful, with dreams of becoming an actress. Her death was so brutal that even the most seasoned detectives shuddered at the sight. And yet, it was staged like a grotesque work of art, meticulously arranged, as if daring the world to solve it. Her name was Elizabeth Short, but the world would forever remember her by another name, the Black Dahlia. And the question, who killed her, remains unanswered to this day.
On the morning of January 15th, 1947, the skies over Los Angeles hung heavy and gray, as if foreshadowing that something was terribly wrong. In the quiet neighborhood of Limert Park, a woman was walking with her young daughter along a nearly empty street. Her eyes suddenly caught on something, a strange shape in the middle of a vacant lot. At first glance, it looked like a store mannequin, pale, lifeless, abandoned overnight. But something felt off. She stepped closer, and when she was only a few feet away, the truth hit her like an icy blade. It wasn't a mannequin. It was a body. Before her lay a young woman flat on her back, eyes half closed as if she were merely asleep, but her body had been severed cleanly at the waist. The upper torso and lower half were placed about a foot apart, positioned with an eerie precision. Her face had been slashed from the corners of her mouth up toward her ears, forming a grotesque smile, what the police would later call a Glasgow smile. But perhaps the most chilling detail of all was that there was not a single drop of blood at the scene. The body had been completely drained, scrubbed clean, and arranged with the care of a deranged artist, which could only mean one thing. She had been murdered elsewhere, and the killer had chosen this spot to deliver a cold, deliberate message.
Police quickly identified the victim. Her name was Elizabeth Short, 22 years old, from Boston, Massachusetts. A young woman with porcelain skin, thick, jet-black hair, and striking blue eyes. A beauty that seemed lifted straight from the silver screen of the 1940s. Elizabeth was born in 1924, one of 5 daughters in a working-class family. When she was just 6 years old, her father abandoned the family, leaving her mother to raise the children alone. Her childhood was marked by scarcity, but also by dreams far too big for a small-town girl to contain. As she grew older, Elizabeth became captivated by the glimmer of Hollywood. She left home for California, chasing her dream of becoming an actress. But in the heart of the movie capital, dreams didn't come easy. She took whatever work she could find, waitressing, sales jobs, and occasionally posing for photographs. Friends remembered Elizabeth as alluring and stylish, often dressed in black with a single flower pinned to her outfit, an image that evoked the mystery of the 1946 film noir, The Blue Dahlia. From that image, her nickname was born, the Black Dahlia. a name that carried both seduction and an air of unreachable mystery. But behind that captivating image was a life that was anything but glamorous. Elizabeth often moved from city to city, forming friendships and romantic connections, mostly with servicemen or men in the entertainment business. And those relationships would soon become a focal point of the investigation as police began their hunt for her killer.
The Black Dahlia case quickly became the center of attention across Los Angeles. On the very day her body was discovered, police sealed off the scene and launched one of the largest investigations the city had ever seen. Reporters swarmed the area, flashbulbs firing in every direction, and within hours, the name Elizabeth Short was splashed across every front page. A meticulous search of the crime scene revealed almost nothing. No blood, no signs of a struggle, no eyewitnesses, only a body that had been staged with unsettling care, as if the killer was daring the justice system to catch him. Detectives began combing through every connection in Elizabeth's life: female friends, boyfriends, co-workers, even neighbors. Everyone was brought in for questioning. More than 150 suspects emerged, ranging from recently discharged servicemen and surgeons to figures connected to the Hollywood film industry. Then, a chilling twist. A letter arrived at the offices of the Los Angeles Examiner. Inside were Elizabeth's personal belongings, her identification papers, photographs, and address book, along with a note made from newspaper clippings. "I will give up in Dahlia killing." The cut-and-paste style of the message suggested the killer wanted attention and was watching the investigation closely. Police believed the letter was genuine. Only the murderer could have possessed those items. Forensic experts noted that the precision of the cuts on Elizabeth's body was extraordinary, far beyond the ability of an ordinary person. It fueled the theory that the killer had medical training or had once worked in surgery. But the deeper the investigation went, the more tangled it became. Promising leads evaporated into dead ends. Witness statements contradicted each other. Suspects produced airtight alibis. And a parade of false confessors, people desperate for notoriety, only pulled the case further from the truth.
Over the following months, the Black Dahlia case file swelled. Hundreds of pages of reports, dozens of witness statements, and a suspect list so long it even included names from Hollywood's elite. But amid the chaos of conflicting leads, a few names stood out, drawing the particular attention of investigators. The most infamous among them was Dr. George Hodel, an intelligent, wealthy man with a background in medicine. He had the skill to make the precise incisions found on Elizabeth's body. Hodel lived in a sprawling Los Angeles mansion, a place rumored to have hosted mysterious parties filled with alcohol and whispers of disturbing behavior. According to secret LAPD files, Hodel's home was wiretapped in 1949. In one chilling recording, he was heard saying, "Suppose I did kill the Black Dahlia. They couldn't prove it now." The statement was enough to send a shiver down the spine, but at the time, police still lacked any physical evidence to charge him. Hodel eventually left the United States, living abroad for years, and the case drifted back into cold storage. But Hodel wasn't the only person of interest. There was Mark Hansen, owner of a nightclub Elizabeth had frequented. Leslie Dillon, a man who wrote to police describing the crime scene in disturbing detail. Details only the killer should have known. And then there were several servicemen, ex-boyfriends, and even casual acquaintances Elizabeth had met in the final days of her life. Each suspect had a possible motive, yet each also had holes in the case against them,
or alibis that held up, sending the investigation back to square one. What frustrated detectives the most was the sense that the killer understood exactly how the police and press operated. He seemed to leave just enough clues to keep the spotlight burning while erasing every trace of direct evidence. A twisted game played with an entire city as his audience.
The Black Dahlia case was more than a gruesome murder. It became a media storm unlike anything Los Angeles had seen at the time. Within hours of the news breaking, Elizabeth Short's image was everywhere, from casual snapshots with friends to glamorous portraits, and even chilling crime scene recreations splashed across the front pages. The press didn't hesitate to brand her with the nickname, the Black Dahlia, a name that carried both allure and the haunting image of a flower drenched in blood. Her story was told and retold, but each retelling added another layer of embellishment. Some painted her as Hollywood's muse, chasing fame and fortune. Others cast her as a mysterious femme fatale, a woman who drew men into a dangerous orbit. But the truth, buried under the sensational headlines, slowly faded, replaced by a dark, enduring legend. The case would go on to leave a deep mark on popular culture. Dozens of noir films, detective novels, and true crime documentaries took inspiration from the Black Dahlia. Artists painted her, musicians wrote about her. Guided tours of the crime scene, new podcasts, and fresh documentaries still emerge to this day, proof that the public has never truly let the story go. In Hollywood, the Black Dahlia became a double-edged symbol. On one side, an image of irresistible beauty. On the other, a chilling reminder that darkness can swallow a dream in a single night.
Nearly 80 years have passed. Los Angeles has changed. Its streets, its buildings, its neon lights, all different now. But in the city's shadowed memory, the Black Dahlia remains, like a scar that will never heal. The case file still sits in the archives of the LAPD. Pages yellowed with age. Crime scene photographs that still unsettle even the most seasoned investigators. Every lead, every suspect, every theory, stacked together like a maze with no exit. Perhaps the killer has long since died, taking the truth to the grave. Or perhaps he's still out there, an old man now. In rare, quiet moments, he remembers that January night as some twisted trophy. To the public, the Black Dahlia is more than a victim. She's a reminder of how fragile dreams can be, and how darkness is always waiting, just behind the glow of the spotlight. And the question still echoes through the minds of every detective, every journalist, and every true crime devotee who has ever touched this story. Who killed Elizabeth Short? And why? Until an answer comes, the Black Dahlia will live on, not in justice, but in cold, sleepless nights, when a low voice begins to tell the tale and that grotesque smile returns to haunt the listener's mind.